I have a couple of guests who I've known longer. I was going to say longer than I wish, but only because it kind of underscores how old we all are. But yeah, I'm really excited. I have to my right, I have Danny Craig.
Hello, hello.
To my left, I have Dave Benedict.
Thanks for having us.
This all, AKA the rhythm section of the band Default, AKA the co-owners of Rock is Dead, AKA, I don't know.
Oh, we're also a Bad Pivot as well. If
Bad
you
Pivot.
really want to.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about that. Very happy about that.
Can I say I'm a big fan of the theme song too?
I Hate Simkin.
Yes.
I wrote it and perform it.
A brilliant piece, truly.
You think? Wow, well then I got some real estate I'm going to sell you if you think that's a good piece of anything. I have notes, not to scare the out of you,
Jeez,
but
there's a lot of notes.
oh, I'm interviewing you here today. Where were you on the night of? Do that.
Definitely
look at
drunk.
this. Look at my assistant even put in a picture.
Yeah, look at that. Just in case you forgot what we look like.
Yeah.
There we go. My first memory in terms of actually meeting you was at a show at the Studebakers.
Yes, Studebakers. Yeah.
I may have met you before, and I was certainly aware because Chad Kroeger, my partner on 604 Records, and also my partner in life, if you know what I mean. Sorry, Chad. I don't know what that is. This is when Nickelback, this is before How You Remind Me, but it's when Nickelback's starting to get a name.
They're making some noise.
they had Leader of Men, right? That was
It's right around Leader of Men,
Yeah.
and we signed a deal with Roadrunner. And, you know, as you probably both remember, Roadrunner is one of those labels. I mean, they don't exist anymore, but when they were in existence, you know, they toured the out of their bands. I mean, that was their strategy. Radio was just like a bonus. It's like, yeah, radio, whatever. Go tour. And so Nickelback would go on tour for like 6 months. Like I would literally call you in 6 months, buddy, you know, and this was before maybe there was email. Was it had it started? I mean, it was just at the beginning.
We definitely had AOL mail, right? Yeah.
It was dial-up.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, you had to put the disc in your computer.
Oh, it was so horrible.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, the point is communications weren't as easy then as they are now. And, you know, so they would go off and tour forever. And then they'd come back off a tour. And most of them would disappear into their domestic lives. But not Chad. Chad's idea of taking a break was producing other bands. And one of the bands that I did a contract for 28 years ago was Shock the Day, because Chad did some demos. So Shock the Day was not Dave.
Nope.
That's right.
It was not Dallas.
That's right. Yeah.
Was it Jeremy?
Jeremy, myself, and then
Dwayne,
yep, who was in Default for maybe 2 minutes.
And
he was still there. I can't
singing?
discredit him. But Dave's, of course, here. Singing was Leon. Yeah. Fellow named Leon. He actually had a band afterwards too that they won Seeds. And
so that I remember that. I remember doing a contract, and it's funny, for some strange reason, I found that contract, not that, because I mean, as a lawyer, you have to keep everything. So I've actually got the contract somewhere. And, you know, like most things Chad and I worked on together outside of Nickelback, didn't work.
Yep.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then that fateful night, I get a phone call from Chad. And again, sorry, world, I've told this story way too many times, but there, you know, buddy, what are you doing tonight? I said, I don't know. What are you doing tonight? Remember that band Shock the Day? I said, yep. So, well, they got a new singer, and I hear he's real good looking. That's what Chad said. I hear he's real good looking. And they're playing tonight at Studebakers. You want to go? Yeah, let's do it. Now, would you have? I think that's before you. I think it was Dwayne still.
I believe it was, yeah.
Just before.
Okay, so I wouldn't have met you for the first time there, but I would have met you. And my memories of that night are strangely vivid, even though it's, and you know, after 28 years or whatever, you never know how much of it is an actual memory versus a memory of a memory. But I have some very distinct memories. Your father, Ian, was there.
Yes. Oh, totally.
Because he was at every show. But
every show. Yeah.
I distinctly remember him being there because he was all over Chad and me. Like, what are you guys thinking? What do you guys want to do? What do you know? He was just like, he wasn't your manager, but in a weird kind of way, he was almost like a de facto.
Yeah, I think
manager.
He was looking out for us in that way
boys,
for sure.
My
right?
boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I remember that. I remember that Dallas had trouble facing the audience.
Yep.
I remember that he spent at least half the night facing the back of the stage. But I also remember Chad and I just being absolutely floored by his vocals, because he might be the most on-pitch singer I have ever, and I've worked with a lot of singers. Like there's 2 or 3 to me that I've never heard sing a sour note. Holly McNarland, Dallas. That might be it. So I remember that, and I remember Chad and I kind of going, we should do something with these guys. There's something good here.
And that was so early too.
So
right?
early.
I mean, so
do you have any idea what year that was?
That had to have been
98?
like 97, 98. Yeah, probably 98. It's probably 98.
God damn.
Well, I joined 2000, so it was probably
99.
No,
maybe.
you joined 9.
No, I joined 2000.
Oh, right. Your wedding was in 2000.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each summer of
So it would have been 99.
spring, summer, I think.
Because the band had only been together for
It
10
happened pretty
months.
quick.
You guys were less than a year
Yeah.
when I joined the band. So
And I always almost remember, don't say it, the band you were in before, don't say it because the name drives me crazy. I always want to say Golem. I know it's not
Close.
Golem. Then I want to say Hoya, but it's Goya.
That's it. Yeah. Like the artist. The artist
What
Goya.
artist? Is that like a famous painter?
Yeah, he
or
was a
something?
famous painter. My guitar player, he was big into art and everything like that. So he's the one that brought the name to the band.
Got you.
Yeah.
So I remember that night, Chad and I sort of saying to you guys, like, let's do something. Like, this feels great. Let's. And your dad was like, we all shook hands and hugged and said, okay. And then I think Chad set off to make some demos, and I set off to make some paper, which I did. And then, see, because I'm still a bit confused on the timeline for Dave. I definitely remember, I don't even think I've ever told you this, but I definitely remember Chad and I being like, I don't know, he looks so different than the rest of the band. Like, because you had braids, or was it
Yeah.
with beads? Or am I making that part up?
No, I had at that point in time, it was like the 2 cornrows that went into the 2 pigtails.
Right. And I remember at first we were like, I don't know, like visually. I mean, when you don't really know about anything, it's much easier to act like you're an expert on everything.
Yeah, right.
And it's just like, wow, I don't know if we might have to talk to him about that hair. You know, I just remember it's so stupid, right? Like the idiot comment. And then Chad went off on tour for a year. And then it was kind of left to me to sort of work with you guys. And it was such a formative experience for me, which you might not know, but I mean, because I wasn't officially managing you, but in a way I was managing. I mean, it was like, we have a gig, we'd come and see you play, we'd make sure everything felt right.
Yeah, and by you saying we'd, you're talking about you and Jen.
It was
Both of you
usually me
guys,
and my
right?
wife. And I even
Yeah.
remember being in Pacific Center with, it might have been Dallas, or was it all
I
of
think it was
you?
all of us. I think it was all of us.
They're helping you shop.
Yep.
Like, so it was, I mean, looking back, it's funny, but it was also very, like, that was a hell of a first experience in a lot of ways for us as well. Like, just like I know it was for you. That year is a little blurry to me, but here's some of the things I remember. I remember a Commodore showcase.
Well, we definitely had Seed show at Commodore.
So it might just have been a Siege show, but would that
Yeah.
have been before you were signed?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, because we were
And I
getting.
think they had people out there for that show, or am I wrong about
We
that?
could have. We definitely had, because we had recorded the record with Chad and Joey at Greenhouse back then, and we definitely had Deny, and that was getting
And that
played
was
on
sort of the
Seed
Seed
Fox.
song, yeah.
That was the Seed song, yeah. And then there was that showcase, the Seed showcase with all the bands, and I remember the big deal being because Pearl Jam apparently played the night before.
Right.
I remember that being a big deal. Oh, right. Pretty sure that's how it went down. But I can't remember if we had anybody there. I remember, of course,
I
we
was
had
there.
Dave was there.
I was there.
That's
I
right.
was
You
in
weren't
the
in the band
I was
yet.
in the
That
audience.
was
you
the
weren't
first
in
time
the
you saw
band.
us.
No, I was in the audience. I was watching them. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That was hopefully the convincing show, right? Was that the?
That was. I was like, well,
Is that why you were there to check? They had asked you to be in the band and you.
I don't think they had asked me to be in the band yet. I was friends with Jeremy. So him and I worked together at Coastal Ford. And
That alone is a great line.
yeah. We're both parts drivers, right?
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah. And he came and saw my band play at Champagne's. I don't know if you remember that place. And we opened up for Noise Therapy there.
I was their lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think he invited me out to go see the Seed show. And I remember being there and just going, man, these guys are great. They really need a new bass player, though.
Yeah, that was a little, I want to say controversial, but maybe, I mean, Dwight wasn't happy about that.
Well, Dwayne,
Or Dwayne, sorry.
No, actually,
Or was he happy about it?
no, ultimately not, for sure. But I mean, it was more like, because there was nothing bad personally, right? It was just we had a good like year of like when we started Default, Jeremy and I more or less it was the two of us concepted it in the beginning, and Dallas is obviously right on board right away, right? But our whole thing with when we were in the old band was we weren't rehearsing enough, and we saw Nickelback go from independent to signed. So we were like, we need to go 5 days a week. That has to be the minimum. We got to mandate. So
amazing how many people locally say that when I saw what happened to Nickelback, we decided to,
Yeah.
Because I guess everybody knew Nickelback, and it was like you can actually go from A to B here.
Yeah. Well, because they were fully independent and had 3 huge singles on CFOX or in Canada.
Yep.
With Off Curb, right?
Yep.
So pretty wild. So yeah, that was like our mandate. I think
Curb had Fly.
Oh, that was
that was the only thing that really worked at radio.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah. I remember hearing those when I was 16 and working at the gas station I was working at.
Yep.
But yeah, that was our mandate when we started the band, and we probably had a good year of that into 2000, just before you had joined, where it was showing on the rest of us and not fully showing on Dwayne's playing, right? So, and I remember it was distinctly after we showcased, because we were already showcasing with you. It was after we showcased one night for Interscope.
Yep.
And the feedback was, well, they're pretty green, give them another 6 months or whatever. And we had all tried to, not that we dressed good, but we had all tried to beef up our wardrobe and whatnot. And anyway, that was the night that we were like, you know what? I don't know if it's going to work with Dwayne. The 3 of us made that call and then met with Dwayne, and it was like nothing but, tears and like, it's like we were on the cusp of being rock stars. And it's like, sorry, buddy, you don't get to come with us. Right.
Oh man.
Like that was really how it was. And it was a day, but it wasn't like nobody got angry or nothing like that. Right. It was more just all of us like, we love you. We love each other. And then since then we are, absolutely have kept in touch with Dwayne over the years.
What does he do now?
He I think he's even co-owner of a painting company.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So him and his wife, his second wife, but she's fantastic. And he's got a young baby with her too.
Nice.
I think she's probably 2 or 3 now.
Is he still out in the valley as well?
Yeah. Still out there. So he's doing great. I see him once or two, or, usually once every couple of years, like at Christmas or whatever. So,
okay. So
yeah.
How did you two know each other?
Only for the band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
where did you grow up? So are you a Valley? Are you a Langley?
No, I was born in Ontario, a little place called Owen Sound.
Oh, I know Owen Sound.
Yes.
Is that Bobby Orr? Home of Bobby Orr or home of someone?
No, it's home of...
He's Perry Sound.
Yeah. So, no, we were famous for having, what was his name?
Billy Bishop.
Billy Bishop. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Billy Bishop Goes to War. So, what's funny about that, just to completely non sequitur, but the Zolas, that band on light organ?
Yep.
Zach Gray, the singer's dad, is John McLaughlin Gray. He wrote Billy Bishop Goes to War, which is, I believe, still the most performed theatrical play in Canadian history.
No kidding.
Just a little.
Wow.
Very
little
cool.
aside. But
small circles.
Small circles. Okay, so you only knew him from the band. And when did you know? Do you know Dallas like when you were young?
Yeah. So Dallas and Jeremy and I all went to the same high
Langley.
school. Yeah. We all went to Walnut Grove Secondary. Yeah. Different years, all 3 of us, but we all started hanging out in, after Jeremy had graduated, and I think Dallas had probably just graduated and I was in grade 11 or whatever. And that's when we were starting to hang out together. Baby. Yeah. I'm the youngest. Yeah.
And Dallas and Jeremy are in the same grade?
Jeremy's a grade ahead of Dow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or 2, possibly 2. Because we span, I'm 46. Do you want to say your age, Dave? What do we span?
I'm way older than both of you, so I don't feel too bad.
You're 50 something.
50 something. 50, 51.
Oh, what are you embarrassed about? You're just barely.
I didn't say I was embarrassed.
Dude, I wish I was 51.
5 years. That's not very much. That's a 5-year span.
Yeah. You could have been in high school together.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah,
You could have been bullying, or he could have been bullying you in high school.
exactly.
Look
right?
at him.
Exactly. Okay, so you, Dallas, Jeremy. It's funny. I know I have one point on my notes here, which just says, Jeremy Hora, discuss.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy and I didn't know each other in school. Now that I think about it, I met him because he was playing in a band called, what were they called? I can't remember now, but
Like in high school?
yeah. Well, just after high school. So his band and Bliss, that was it. Thank you, Bliss. Our bands when we were in Shock the Day, or it was Enema at the time.
Enema.
We'd play together at China Beach, and I don't want to. There's no horn tooting here, all right? Like local bands, everyone sucks, but Jeremy and I were probably a couple of the better players amongst the local groups. So we would do these little solo offs during these shows that we'd have at China Beach. This happened 3 or 4 times. And he'd pull out just like Jimmy Page, he'd pull out the bow and right. And I'd do some drums. So we'd go back and forth and Jeremy describes it. He's like, that's when I knew we were musical soulmates. And so we convinced Jeremy to join our band, and that's how that relationship started.
Got you.
And then of course, Default and everything else
Now,
followed.
would it be a fair statement to say that Jeremy Hora is a peculiar man?
Oh, it's that.
Or is that an understatement?
Maybe an
I
understatement.
want to be clear about something. I adore Jeremy.
We all adore Jeremy.
He is one of the nicest, funnest, strangest mother I've ever met.
The best heart.
And when he's like got a little bit of a buzz on it, he's sort of in your face and it's just like you don't really know what's going on. It's like he's like a pixie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very loud pixie.
And he's so tiny, like he's just like such a tiny boned guy. Like it was always amazing to me, just like how I was always like wondering, like, how does he feed himself? How does he dress? Like how, just like what planet is he from? What the is that? And it's so nice that it's still the original, well, but not Dwayne, obviously, but still the original guys who got signed.
Yes,
Are
right.
still, which
For
is
all
pretty
intents and
rare
purposes,
in this
right,
business.
It is.
Mhm.
It is.
We had a deal with you that was pretty straightforward. It's like literally a 2-page agreement, if I remember correctly. And it basically just said, we're going to make some demos. We're going to shop your band. If we get you a deal, we get reimbursed for the money we spent on the demos. And I think 25% of the advance.
Something like that. Yeah.
Because I know that Chad and I worked our asses off for about a year to get you signed. And when it was all said and done, I think we shared $12,000. I think we both got $12,500.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right.
Which isn't a lot of money for a year's worth of work. But for 2 guys who didn't come from money,
Mhm.
it was a miracle.
Yeah.
I think Chad bought his first car with that.
Yeah. Right.
Like it was just like, holy, we did something that worked.
Mhm.
Like it was a revelation. And I know I've said this to you both before, and I've said it on podcasts, but the other thing for me personally was it got my brain going. I was like, if we had structured that deal a little bit differently, oh my God, we could have done a 4-record production deal. And then that might not have been great for you, but I was just, I was still learning.
Well, honestly, I wish that had have happened, because I always tell
Given
people
what ended up happening.
one of our biggest mistakes was not working with Chad again on our second record.
Who did you work with, Prasher?
We worked with Rick.
We did one song with Chad on
Which
that
song?
record. Throw It All Away.
Yeah,
Right.
but that was like late. That was
It
after
was.
we
It was kinda
recorded
like-
a bunch of stuff already.
Was he
Yeah.
pissed off?
I'm sure he was not happy. I'm sure he
Well,
was
but
probably
remember,
heard about
he
it,
was
right?
also all over the world.
Yeah.
He wasn't very available at that point because they were touring all
I
the
think
time.
he was. I believe he was still expecting to do it, and we, for a dumb reason, we just because of the association, you'd get those questions all the time in interviews. Oh, did Chad write all your songs? And at the time, us
Theory of
being
the nickel
young,
fault.
exactly right.
We wanted to prove ourselves, right?
Yeah,
And-
but prove ourselves in the way that we went in totally unprepared.
oh my gosh.
Totally.
We went in with 7 songs on that second record.
Yeah.
And not one of them, only one, Taking My Life Away, was the only song that we
actually
had
survived?
that we had finished.
Oh,
Yeah.
they finished.
All the other
we
ones, they were
finished.
like, it was like a verse and a chorus.
Was that a Greenhouse deal as well?
No, this
No.
was Parasher again. So we had already worked with Parasher for Wasting My Time. So I guess I kind of got ahead of
Was
myself
that
there,
at
but
in Greenhouse?
no, that was all at London Bridge.
London Bridge.
Is that
in
his studio in
Seattle.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, just outside of Seattle.
The late Rick Pratt.
Yeah. I was going to say for the first record, or the first time we worked with them. So I guess I should backtrack a little bit. We went
Well,
down
because the first album had some Chad tracks,
mostly Chad tracks.
Yeah.
and then Parasher.
We did 3 with Parasher.
Okay.
Yeah, we did Wasting.
And
We
TVT sent us back in with Chad, and we went to the warehouse, and we did a couple tracks in there, and almost got kicked out. And
Well, we did get kicked out, and then Chad had to pull out some cash and buy them a new couch in the morning.
that's right. Yeah.
And he
What the hell did you do?
talked us back in.
Well, let's see what could have had. Let me guess, because I wasn't there. What could have damaged the couch? Could have been vomit.
Yes.
I think it was
jizz.
broken. I think it was straight up broken. Like the arm broke off.
There was vomit. There was banana stuck in the ceiling.
Oh no!
The towel rack was ripped off the wall.
Oh,
And then I don't know what
that's
happened.
ringing
to
a
the couch,
bell.
but
Actually,
yeah.
now that you say that rings a bit of a bell.
Yeah, apparently we had a bit of a reputation. I don't think it was a
But
bad
it's funny
one per
because you guys
se.
you were never like out of control guys. Like I guess just
Not really. We just like to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got a little out of control,
carried away.
right? Yeah.
go back to the first album. So the album comes out, and Wasting My Time was definitely the first single.
First commercial release.
And I remember the video, nice, expensive US MTV style video.
Mm-hmm.
And things happened pretty quick at that point because that song took off, as I recall.
It was crazy.
Was that before How You Remind Me or just after?
Just after. So
Yeah.
the single started getting play in Canada was it July or is that when the record came out?
And it would have been Universal working it in Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Right,
3
'cause-
months later in the US. Yeah.
Right, because I was going to say, I have that also a very distinct memory of that Universal convention in Gravenhurst or Deerhurst,
Mm-hmm. I think yours.
where Holly McNarland somehow convinced you idiots to skinny dip, while Dallas and I sat on the shore going, what a bunch of idiots.
Actually, I think Jeremy was the only one who
That might
jumped
be
in.
true. That might be
I
true.
think so. I think that's what it sounded like. So there's another great example. You're right. So Jeremy went skinny dipping. I believe we found you
Oh man,
passed
yeah.
out somewhere in
Oh,
the morning
no.
because you weren't there in the lobby in the morning.
Yeah,
when
because
we were going to fly out.
because of me, our crew guys missed their flight and they were in the air when 9/11
Well,
happened.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. So a lot of funny things about that Universal thing and some not so funny things. But do you remember all the acts who were there?
Vaguely.
Rebecca Black, or was it not Rebecca
No, I don't think
Black?
she was there yet. Yeah.
Well, Rebecca Black was a woman who worked for TVT
Yes,
Canada.
no. What was the
Julie Black.
Julie
thinking.
Black,
But
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
She was there. I
I think
remember
that's
she
right.
in
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
okay.
Do you remember who else? There was a very big band there.
Well, I think I've remembered you've mentioned this before,
Black
but I
Eyed
don't.
Peas?
I don't remember.
Black Eyed Peas were
Yeah.
there. That was at the beginning of things for them.
Right. Oh yeah.
Holly McNarland was there. That's why I was there. And Hoxie Workman was there. I
Yeah,
remember
that's right.
Hoxie being there.
Yeah.
And there was somebody else, and I think a country, Paul Branch or something. I remember there was a country artist. I remember thinking how bizarre the whole thing was. That's when the music business was healthy and there was tons of money. So number one, Universal probably had 1,000 boys. I mean, that place was rammed. And they were doing all those weird like team building things. Like I remember they were doing tug of war at some point. Like, and do you remember Dave Porter, who was an A&R guy there? He dated Rebecca
Yes.
Black.
I
He
think
was
so.
the A&R
Yeah.
guy for most, like Matthew Good. And,
Right.
and I remember giving him such a hard time, just being like, dude, like, tug of war, really? Like, what the are you? Who are you? What are you doing here, man? And then it was just a mega drunk fest.
Yeah.
Just a nightmare. And I don't drink, so I was just like, I remember Dallas and I just kind of rolling our eyes, just kind of going, God, what are we doing here? And as Dave referenced earlier, this was the weekend before 9/11.
Mhm.
I was also in the air and on American Airlines, flying from Toronto to Los Angeles because we were managing Lilix, and Jennifer, my wife, was in LA, and that all happened like, right then and there, which is still a shock.
Mhm.
Well,
And-
Lenny and Steve Gottlieb
Were in the
flew
air?
into New York that day,
On 9/11.
right? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. As you recall, all planes were grounded for maybe 3 weeks. It was like a couple of weeks. Like there
Yes.
were no
It was-
flights.
It was a couple weeks. Yeah, my crew guys were pissed with me. They were in. They
Oh,
were,
'cause
They were stuck in Winnipeg. They got grounded in Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's, okay. I don't blame them for being pissed at you. But no, I'm kidding. I like Winnipeg. Everybody take it easy. But what's interesting is you guys had a show at the Hammerstein Ballroom with Nickelback and Saliva. which was a very significant show in my life. And the reason the 9/11 thing ties in is that this was when Chad and I were really shopping 604, like our non-existent label, because really all we had was a production agreement with Theory of a Dead Man, which again, I have to thank you for, because it was after the experience with you guys where I went, oh, we should have done that differently. And we signed Theory, because Chad was like, we met Tyler Connolly at a party. I heard you guys were going to be here. I have a couple of tapes. Yeah, he gave us each a demo. It was fun.
We got to see them when they came recently on their tour last year, because Dallas went out and sang a song with them. So we all popped over just to say hi.
Well, we're not on bad terms, but it was a little weird when they left the label. It was 2018 is the last time I talked to them. So it hasn't 10 years, but it's 7 years or whatever. And I think it was just, they left the label and it was a little, remember I had that tweet that got me in trouble about the Junos?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were upset about it. I mean, the irony, of course, I could get into this with them, but the irony about it is the tweet was about them. Like I was pissed off that they didn't get on the show because they had that giant #1 hit, RX.
Yep.
And somebody at the Juno said to me, sorry, we've hit our quotient of white males, and that's why I did that tweet. But, they were upset about it, and they left the label and it wasn't it was like a phone call with them and Bill McGaffey and we're leaving the label, it's like, okay. So, and listen, at this point, like at least when Dallas left, he gave me 2 years heads up.
Right. Yeah.
I just want you to know when the contract's over, I'm starting my own label in Canada. And I said, God bless you. I have no qualms with that.
Totally. Yeah.
I got to be careful here because I'm going to get so off topic because I have this is bringing up a million things. But, so the 9/11 link is that suddenly Chad and I had all this interest in our non-existent label. And so we had to fly to New York because we wanted to have some meetings, but we couldn't fly to New York because the planes were all grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron Berman was stuck in Vancouver. So Ron and I flew the first day you could fly again. Ron and I flew together. As you probably know, I don't like flying. I think everybody knows that about me. And it was so funny because then I was pissing my pants because I'm like, 9/11 just happened like 2 weeks ago and we're getting on a plane the first day you could fly. And I was nervous. And I remember Ron, for those of you who don't know, Ron Berman is a very, very big Jewish man.
Yeah.
He is like 6'5" and just a big guy.
Yeah.
And he said, "What, like, are you okay, man?" I said, I'm nervous, man. He's like, "What are you nervous about?" I said, "What am I nervous about? Look at 9/11, dude. Like, what do you think I'm nervous about?" And he had one of those cross pens, like, those steel pens. He said, "Dude, you got nothing to worry about. First sign of trouble." And he takes a pen out. He's like, I'll stab him. I said, "Okay, I feel better."
Yeah. I'm sitting beside the right guy.
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm good.
And then they took his pen.
Yeah, right. They took his pen. Yeah. But I said, "Yeah, but what about metal fatigue?" And he's like, "Well, I can't help you with that, dude. Because, that's why sometimes planes crash because of metal fatigue."
Right,
that's me and my neurosis. Don't worry about it. But my memories of that weekend are so vivid. Nickelback had a benefit show in Virginia for 9/11. And man, that night was crazy because it was like System of a Down. And I remember standing side stage and on my right is Dave Grohl and on my left are the Blink-182 guys. Like it was that kind of an event.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then the very next day was the Hammerstein show. So we took the bus back to New York and what a show. I don't know what you remember about that night. I remember you guys getting plaques awarded to you.
Yep.
I remember there were the Canadian
golds, right?
I think from Canada.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, I think there are Canadian gold.
Because I think Rebecca flew in from Universal.
No, I think it was our American platinum because it was. It wasn't the small ones. It was the big ones.
The big ones.
For sure. Yeah.
So I remember there was like after the show there was a presentation and Gottlieb was there. I remember Leor Cohen was there.
Yep. Brian Coleman was there.
Jay-Z. I met Jay-Z.
That's right.
I was like, what the
the guys from Anthrax were there.
Right. It was a hell of a night. And, for a bunch of guys from Vancouver, I mean, what a night. I mean, the Hammerstein's it's not like it's Madison Square Gardens, but what is it, 4,000 people?
It's the Hammerstein, though.
Yeah, it's
everybody knows the name.
And it was
right?
rammed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember it was sold out because I used to do these tour journals, and the one from the Hammerstein says, just finished our second sold out night at Hammerstein. What
a night. That's all I can say. What a night. I just, I never wanted it to end. I remember the girl who was in the How You Remind Me video was there for some reason. I remember that, what's this, Josie Scott?
Oh yeah, from Slava, yeah.
Wearing a long, almost he looked like one of the Columbine killers. He was wearing like long ass leather coat. He was something on stage. I don't love him for some things that happened with Nickelback, but you know what? They were very good. Live, they were very, very, I was never the biggest fan.
They were great.
But he was, I had this big man just
Yeah, he gave
that
her,
mic
right?
like
Yeah.
a mother, just like, you know, so that, and then the very next day, Chad and I negotiated our deal for 604.
Wow. What a
The
crazy,
whole thing's
what a
just
crazy
hard to
like
believe.
month, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys sort of disappeared on tour. Then you guys became like the Nickelback of just like, see you in a year.
Pretty much. I mean,
man.
we went out, we were doing tail end of that summer, we were doing some festivals and we were flying around a bit and driving around a bit. And I think it was like 3 months before the label was like, yeah, we better put you in a bus, maybe even quicker. And then we got in the first bus. We did some more Nickelback shows. And then when did we do the Bush tour? We opened for Bush on a run.
Oh, yeah.
And then right after that, we pretty much turned around and headlined the same run. It was wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the second single on that album?
It would have been.
It was Deny.
Yeah.
Yep. Deny,
Deny.
Sick and Tired, and
Live a Lie.
Live a Lie were the singles.
And so that album, Psycho, had to have been almost 2 years.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
17 months, I think it was.
Well, of the 2 years, we were gone for 17 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
God damn.
Yeah, it was a stint.
Yeah, it sure was.
But I mean, you're young, you're early 20s, you have free beer every night. Woohoo!
We were having a
There were
blast.
women who weren't turned off by your success.
Certainly, we saw some breasts, I believe, signed a few as it goes.
It's funny. I don't know if you saw my podcast with Dallas, but he talked about it a bit, that how he regrets. It was a very touching moment. Like that podcast was really, because he was very on. I mean,
Yeah, I listened to it. It was great.
We're all
Yeah.
being honest, but it's like he said stuff. I was surprised that he, basically said like, my first marriage, I wrecked my first marriage just because I was young and immature and couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Which, listen, a lot of people
Exactly.
have that experience.
None of us, except for Danny,
Yeah, right.
which we've got a pretty funny story about that.
I'm the only OG.
Where are you going? None of us what?
None of us are with the same wives that when we, right? So we're all on our second marriages except for Danny. And this,
Horror? What about Jeremy?
I guess he wasn't actually married to us first, but
no, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But we went and we played the show in Hawaii, and Danny's wife was the only one out of all of the girls, even our crew guys. All of their girls came. We made a holiday of it. Monica was like, I'm not going to go. We're like, why not? It's Hawaii. She's like, I don't know. I'm going camping or something like that.
You guys stink. I don't want to come out and hang out on this tour.
So we went to a luau one night and we all got this big group picture together. And we all look back on that photo and not one of us are with the same girl.
Oh, God.
Danny was the only one. So we're like, that's the cursed picture. So
I didn't even go to the luau, so I'm not even in the picture as a single person.
So we just did a cruise this year. We did that summer '99 cruise.
yeah.
So once again, we're all like, well, let's bring our ladies, right? We're all married to different women at this point, right? We took our crew out for dinner for the last night and we're all sitting at a table and the staff photographer comes up to us and goes, hey, guys, do you mind if I get your picture? Dallas just stands up and goes, nope. and walked right out of the restaurant.
That's good. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That is pretty wild. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
You know a lot of people in the industry, right? And some of them survive, and many, unfortunately, yeah.
It's a hard thing.
Yeah,
man.
It's hard.
Yeah, when you're away from home for that long, it's.
And you're young.
I'm sure it is, right?
And let's face it. I mean, a lot of guys in bands were introverts in high school. They weren't necessarily people who were popular with the girls or popular at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, if you're a kid in a candy store, everybody wants to you because you're in a band. Wow, look at that. I'll be damned.
Well, and of course the front guys get it the worst, right?
Yeah.
That's the voice. That's,
Get it the worst.
or
the best,
maybe the best, whatever you want to look at it, right?
Yeah. Depends on your perspective. Yeah. This is true.
Luckily, the drums in the back, some people are like, oh, I didn't even see you up there.
See, I can date Dallas's first wedding because I brought my Connell, who was infant. He had just come out of the hospital. As you might remember, he was in a hospital for a while. He was very sick. And the first things we did when he got him out was go to Dallas's wedding.
Yeah.
To, his first wife,
Mm-hmm.
who I had such a crush on. I'm not going to say her name. I don't want to embarrass her. But if you're out there,
Call
give me a call. Yeah, give me a shout. I'm kidding, Jen. Okay, we got to talk about Steve Gottlieb a little bit and about the TVT experience, which is unpleasant to talk about in many ways. Let's talk about Gottlieb first. I remember him at that Universal retreat we were talking about. What a strange man. The ponytail, the loafers, the kind of, he almost, you ever see that Seinfeld where there's the woman who doesn't swing her arms when she walks? And he's a bit of that. Like, he was so stiff the way he would sort of walk around. Really peculiar guy.
He's very quiet, right?
Very quiet, but what an ass. Like, what a
Yeah.
like the stuff he pulled, the stuff he did to people. Like, I don't know a label that got sued more. I don't know. I mean, Nine Inch Nails sued them. Little John sued them. And
Naughty by Nature came in with baseball bats.
is that true?
Oh yeah, that's how they got out of their deal.
Isn't that
They
something?
came in with baseball bats. We're like, let us out.
And then it all imploded. Yeah. It all, which, if you had no success, okay, but they had a lot of success and they imploded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the part I never fully got. How can you have the Nine Inch Nails records and the Little John records and you weren't the only ones who had hits. I mean, there were a lot of bands on that label that had hits.
Pitbull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So their A&R was good, but
I think the management of definitely the distribution was an issue with them. We constantly would hear from people, I couldn't find your album in the record store.
That was
do you remember who their
painful.
distribution was?
They had their own. That's why. They owned their own distribution. They did all their own distribution.
It was Universal,
Yeah.
but in the States they had their own.
Yeah.
Because TVT was television, TV records or TV tunes.
Yep.
Because he had put out those greatest hits, a Brady Bunch, and that like theme songs from TV shows, which catapulted them immediately. It was a huge success. And he set up his own distribution network.
Yep. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Ugh.
And from what I remember, when we hit, because Wasting My Time was supposedly the 7th most played song in America that year. And I remember when we were at the label visiting, doing something, probably signing posters or something. And we had found out recently that we had hit 500,000 spins at US radio. And we were probably, I don't know, maybe 700,000 records sold. So I remember asking the vice president, Paul Jessup? Was that his name? No, Paul Jessup was Universal
Canada.
It was
radio
Paul
guy.
someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
And
but
I'm like, that's interesting. Can you check what How You Remind Me's at? And he's like, oh, that's at, it's like 740,000 spins. I'm like, okay, great. So the next 500,000 spins, we're going to sell 9 million more records. Is that how it's going to go? Because I feel like, and maybe I'm way off, but I feel like the success of the song didn't match the album sales. Even though we went platinum, the song was huge.
Yeah.
Right? It was so
huge.
big.
Still is.
Yeah.
We were playing arenas with Nickelback, and you go into the record store and there'd be nothing on the shelves. It's like, really, you guys know the tours to get the schedule where we're going. Just show up ahead of time.
God,
put some CDs on the shelf.
Yeah,
that's hard to hear. Jesus, that's really.
Yeah,
it's funny. I remember seeing you guys opening for Nickelback at the Pacific Coliseum. And I think it was one of the last shows of either your cycle or Nickelback cycle, or and I remember thinking, and man, Chief's going to kill me for this, just thinking that your sound was so much better than theirs. Russ was a very, very good sound guy.
He was, yeah.
Especially in those sort of rooms like that. Like, I just remember thinking, holy, he's probably got half the board Nickelback does, and it sounds incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he really had an ear.
Yeah. Where's he now? Alberta?
I think he's probably still in Alberta. We've kind of unfortunately lost touch with him. Yeah.
Me too, like years and years ago. Okay. And then, I don't know how much you want to say about that. the TVT thing was brutal, and I did my best to help you guys through it. But the thing is, a bankruptcy is a bankruptcy. And once that happens, you're nothing more than the asset of a bankrupt entity.
Yep.
And it ended up selling to Orchard.
Yep.
Who still, I was funny, I went and checked, and it's still the credit. Like when you go and look at the albums on Spotify or wherever, and you look at the credit, the copyright notice is to Orchard.
Right.
I don't know. To me, it felt like the band was already maybe not doing so great. And then that happened. It was just like,
That tanked it. That was
it.
That was 5 years that
In
our
limbo?
assets were seized by the bank, right?
Yeah, the record
So-
was about to come out. Like it was in 2007. We had our fourth album. Fourth album. Like ready. It was recorded, mixed.
Did it ever come out? It
Yeah.
did.
EMI.
On Orchard?
Pushed 2 more
EMI.
years later. Yeah.
EMI, they're the ones. Well, it was
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And if that wasn't enough, your business manager fucks you over, like, including not even paying taxes that were supposed to be paid. That I remember too. What a
Yeah. And we didn't find out until he died. So I had gotten a couple of calls from CRA prior to that. And I would call Rick and, hey, I got a call from CRA. They tell me we haven't filed a Canadian tax return ever. Oh, that's a bunch of crap. I'll call them. I'll sort this out for you. No worries.
ugh.
Thank you. Oof, good thing we have you, buddy.
Well, there's that old expression, not to speak ill of the dead. I think we'll make an exception.
Yeah, we did.
Because that guy was a piece of
We
dirt.
did. We made an
Well, it was
exception. Yeah.
unfortunate because, I mean, as a human being, we loved the guy. You know, he was a great guy. And, when I went through my divorce, he was like, man, you come down, you can stay with me. Like he had a good heart. I just don't think he knew what he was doing. Right. Especially with the Canadian band and all that. Still doesn't change.
Well, he
the
still
fact that
stole from us. He stole
Yeah,
$1,500
I
a
know.
month on top of his commission. They found $60,000 in uncashed show checks.
Maybe that's why he was nice.
Well, I remember Janice Staub. Why was she? Was she your business?
She was
Did she take
taking
over
care of us personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember
then
her calling me and saying, like, are you sitting down?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, she said, sit down. And then went over the whole. Number one, he didn't pay their Canadian taxes. Number two, he didn't cash checks. Number three, and I'm sitting there just going,
Yeah.
what could I do? She's like, I don't know. Maybe nothing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what a friggin'.
We ended up getting like $47,000 from the estate after it all.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I don't
Yeah.
think.
We ended up getting a check, but obviously that was,
Still didn't pay it
pittance
off.
compared to what we owed, right?
Of course not.
Yeah, we owed probably
I
over
didn't
over $250,000 we owed at the time.
That didn't even cover one of the checks that he didn't cash.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Could have just cashed those checks.
Yeah.
Boy, that's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Damn.
And you're totally, I mean, we weren't that attentive. Like we were definitely, I'd say we were oblivious, but no, we weren't. We weren't like, that was another thing I always admired about Nickelback. Mike is like on it, always had been, the business end, right?
So is Peak.
Yeah.
Those two in
none of
particular.
us really did that, but we're all kind of similar in the way that we're like, we're not very bossy people in terms of,
Very passive.
Chad would, we're very passive. And Chad would be like, why don't you just say no? You can say no? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, the God. That's funny.
Yeah.
And then that was sort of like, that's kind of coincides with Dallas deciding, like, this, I'm going to.
Really, it got to the end. Like, so first record came out in 2001, and then it really came down 2010, 2011, right? When we were out, we were doing
2013 was the last show we did.
That was the last show, yeah. The last tour we did was that 3 Days Grace tour in Canada. But
No.
Oh, it was
yeah. It was, did we do that one after the
I thought
the
we
Hinder
did,
tour?
but the
last
point I was
American
getting at,
one, yeah.
the point I was getting at is the Hinder tour. We were touring the US. The last time we played with Hinder, we toured with Hinder. They were opening for us on our third record. Then the bankruptcy happened. Then we went back out, opened for Hinder. Obviously, they blew up, right? They rightfully so. But we were opening for them, getting $500 a show.
Rightfully so. I disagree.
Well, fair enough, right? But that's what we went from where we were. That was like the bottom of the barrel, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of bands would love $500 a show. But
Yeah.
that's, we're like,
It was
the
hard
only
to-
reason we had a bus is because we had our own $20,000 show at a casino in Detroit. And then that all went to pay for the bus for the tour, and that was it. And I for all of us, like, you know, and I know, I've heard about Dallas's end of it, and all of us though at that time were just miserable, right?
Yeah.
We were just not having a good time.
I remember it was hard to watch, and it was hard to, it was, you know, you didn't know whether to be angry or upset or kind of a combination of all of it. That was tough. And I mean, and when Dallas called me to be like, I think I'm going to go country, and like, is that something 604 might? And I was like, yeah, I mean, yes. Like, I didn't even know what he was up to, but I was like, dude, of course I'll. And it was, I mean, if I'm really honest about it, because I hadn't heard a note of music, it was partly me almost, I don't want to say feeling responsible, but it's like, you know what? Like, I was part of the reason you ended up at TVT. I'd like to be part of the reason that, you know, that hopefully that's not the end of the story. You know, so, you know, having that success with him was satisfying on so many different levels, including that. And that doesn't help you guys, but, you know, but one thing I was curious to ask you, was it hard seeing his career blow up that way? Was it like, he's obviously your friend, so you're happy for him, but was there a part of you that was also like, was it frustrating, or was it like?
I came to terms with it later, as far as like, I'm happy for my friend, right? I want any of us to have success, but it was hard when you're doing like a job. You've got to go back to a 9 to 5, right? And you're watching your friend be successful and you're miserable, right? And you just, you know, you can't think of anything else except for, well, you know, like, life used to be good. Now it sucks. I'm stuck in traffic and, you know, I'm not happy.
Well, good for you, Dallas.
Yeah, you know.
I'm so happy for you.
I think another part of it too is we all kind of, at that time, as it all happened and we kind of hiatused, I think we all just needed a break from everything, somewhat including each other.
I was going to ask, like, was there a period when you guys weren't talking much to each other?
We just weren't, not because of any like rift or reason other than like,
enough for now.
We just need a rest, right? So we all definitely went a bit of a separate way.
Yeah.
You know, I tried my success at producing and moderately rode along there. And Dave, you got into graphic. You went back to school for graphic design and photography and whatnot. And
when did Default sort of reform, or like when did you?
2018. Then we got the call to open up for Stone Temple Pilots and do that tour across Canada.
And at that time, we were definitely more hanging out again.
But were you guys looking for gigs then, or was it sort of like it came out of the blue and it was like, well, maybe we should do it?
It totally came out of the blue. It was a weird time. It was a really weird time in my life at that point. My sister had just been killed in a car accident.
Yeah.
And obviously that turned my whole world upside down, right? And within that same week, we got that call. And it was so weird because, you know, like the absolute worst possible thing I could imagine just happened to me. And then all of a sudden I got handed this gift, right? And it felt like it kind of saved me, right? Like it put something good into my hands, and it put something positive to look forward to, right? Instead of just sitting there and stewing and feeling sorry for myself and woe is me, right? It was a good distraction.
So that's 2018. So is Paul Whalen dead?
Scott
Whalen?
Scott, yes.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, they'd already had
singing?
Jeff Good is his name, yeah.
So is this also after Chester Bennington was dead?
It was. Yeah.
Jesus.
Was he?
Oh, dead?
No, I don't think he had passed yet.
But he was no longer singing with.
No.
That's right, yeah. They had done their whole search. I even remember before that going up to record a band at Garth Richardson's studio and him having a guy in there doing a demo tape to try out for STP, one of his old clients. But
I think Kearns tried out too.
Probably, I think that sounds familiar.
I could be
that was Velvet Revolver.
You're right. You're very right about that. Yep. I stand corrected. That's interesting. I saw Stone Temple Pilots when Scott was still alive. and it was strange because he had almost died and he had come back, and it was like the coming back tour, and it was the Queen Elizabeth Theatre. So they weren't quite, you know, it might have been intentional though. It might have been like, hey, we're going to do smaller. It was so good.
He was awesome.
It was so good.
We played one show with
like
him,
2002, I think, or something. Yeah.
When he was in the band still.
It was right before he got booted out for the second time,
Right.
I believe it was.
Right.
And I just remember standing on the side of the stage and just going, holy
What?
shit, this guy's so good.
Chad called me once, probably right around the same time, saying, buddy, guess what I'm doing? I said, I don't know. I'm side stage. Listen to this. And it was Stone Temple Pilots.
It may have been that show.
Might have
Could
been that
have
show.
been, yeah.
Yeah, which is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What has it been like now? So all these years later, and all the stuff all the trials and tribulations, and all the stuff, and your business manager, and your label going bankrupt. So here you are now as adults, as sort of guys who have kids and families, and what's it like now to go out and play with Default? Like, what's that feeling? Is it?
It's awesome.
Do you feel?
I'd say it's best.
Is it? Do you feel? Is it lucky?
Fucking
You
best.
feel lucky, or you feel?
Dude, every time I get on stage, because I thought it was in the rearview mirror, right? Like I thought it was a thing of the past. And so anytime we get to go up on stage and just to even be with everybody again, right, is a blessing, and it's great. The fact that, like you were saying, that we're still all together, we're still the same four guys, and we still, you know, like, man, we laugh, we talk about old times, right? We talk about our future, our, you know, what's going on now. And we genuinely, you know, love one another's company, and it's great.
It's pretty wild, isn't it, to have those sort of long, because it's an industry where long relationships are the exception, not the rule.
Which
People
is
fire
sad.
their managers quickly. People fire their band members quickly. People quit. People, you know, like it's not the most stable business, and that's putting it mildly. So it's pretty amazing when, like, Chad and I were talking the other night, and he's like, remember when we did the deal with Lior and Case Wessels? I said, of course I remember. Like, Jesus. And he said, do you remember being in that limo that night? And I said, oh yeah. We were like sharing this memory that after we did our deal with Lior and Case, and it was on a napkin. I still have the napkin somewhere. Like, we literally, and we had to get to some dinner in New York. And so we're in some limo driving silently in Manhattan. And that was like a 10-hour negotiation. So we're both wiped. And Chad looks at me and says, what the just happened? And I said, we're rich. We're rich. And we're hugging each other in the back of this limo. Like, now, we weren't rich, just to be clear.
Yeah.
If anybody, but, you know, it is pretty amazing to have 30 years of memories with somebody. Like, especially in this godforsaken business. Like, it's just like, it's wild. I mean, it's wild that we all still know each other. And, and you know, we'll talk about this in a sec, but like, and we're still doing business like all these years later, which is, I mean, it's amazing to me. It's amazing.
Incredible. It is.
Honestly, I think it's a shame. Like it's a shame. And that was one thing when we touched on the whole, like, you know, Dallas' success and our not success, right? Like the fact, like, to not be friends or not to be, I mean, I don't even like to say the word friends. I think we're family is what we are, right? To spend that much time with somebody, to, you know, do those things, those next to impossible things, those dream-like things that, let's be honest, most people don't get the chance to do.
Nope.
We got to do it together. And if I don't die having these guys as my best friends, man, then, you know, something's wrong, and I've lost in life, you know?
Well, you know, it's like probably in some ways, you know, when, you know, guys go to war together and stuff, you know, you sort of forge these alliances that you just seem to, you know, you're forever cast together, you know, just on your common experience through that whole thing, you know? So, yeah, no, it's wild. Like, it really is. And again, most relationships don't last that long. I mean, you guys are an exception. Nickelback's an exception. I mean, I look at Nickelback, it's not just the same band. band members. It's the same crew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We just played with them this summer at the Field of Dreams in Iowa. Again, family reunion, haven't seen a bunch of the crew guys in a long time. And obviously had a great chat with everybody in the band and just, yeah, exactly. It's just,
it's pretty wild.
It's awesome.
So let's fast forward to Rock is Dead. I want to give you guys a chance to do a little promotion for yourself.
Yeah.
So you guys started a label, was it 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago?
That was during COVID.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's why my memory's a little nothing. I can never remember anything that happened in COVID. It's like, was that 12 years ago? Was that a year ago? Was that?
It's insane. Yeah. That whole vortex.
Okay. So that's about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
And how did that come about?
It was actually probably a lot of one of our bands, Chase the Bear, that I really wanted to work with. And I knew they wouldn't be able to afford to pay me anything, but I just thought they were great. So kind of started thinking about, inspired by a little label called 604. Why don't I own this? Why don't I try and own these masters? Right. And I'd originally had the concept with somebody else, and then that didn't work out. But very quickly I approached Dave with it and was like, hey, with our powers combined, me being a record producer and Dave being a photographer and videographer, we can make everything product wise.
Yep. And we've worked together in that kind of a capacity for, I don't know how many years.
On tons of the indie bands that we worked with.
It was always like either I like a lot of the times it was Danny producing somebody, and then he'd be like, oh yeah, Dave could shoot your video or do your photo shoot, or it'd be vice versa. I'd be doing a video shoot. I'd be like, hey, next time you got to record, go see my buddy Danny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So for a long time we were doing that. And then, the concept of the label, put that together. And then before we approached you with it, we really wanted to, if you will, make the cheeseburger and the box and everything. Right. So we had our website done. We had a video for each of the bands. We had 2 records. And so that's where we're like, okay, let's get some help. let's see who will help us. And you were the first person we called, of course. And thankfully you were into it, which was very cool.
Well, again, it goes back to the history. It goes back to, just sort of wanting to use my position to help. I mean, it's such a weird thing to say, isn't it? But like in a way to right the wrong of TVT, like I know that's weird probably that I'm saying that, but it's like, I think on some level.
Well, we appreciate having you still and our friendship over the years. And you're right. I mean, that's another good reason why we came, is because you're a person we trust and value. Right.
I appreciate that.
And we've just been working the 2 acts that we've got currently, the Vitos and Chase the Bear. And, as Dave mentioned, we've got the day jobs that could take up a bit of time, but we're in there on the weekends and tracking the bands and tracking new singles and filming new videos.
I mean, it's a funny time to be a record label. Let's face it. I mean, the business is almost unrecognizable from when we all started together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like
we were really privy to that swap in rock being very popular to rock.
I feel like it's making a little bit of a comeback.
I do too. I've been saying it since 2007, but I feel like finally now it's
so you're going to have to change the label name to Rock Isn't Dead?
Rock is no longer dead. I thought that was the most rock and roll name. That's why we went with that.
First time I heard it.
Yeah. We're still meaning to make some more t-shirts and start a bit of because I think it could have a good culture. It could have it's a cool name for a culture.
Yes,
right?
100% it is.
And Chase the Bear's they've got some stuff right now that Danny has just finished recording. And it smashes.
Oh, nice.
Like,
Dave's pretty excited.
I'm super excited. Like it's cool. It's groovy. I think they've hit another little plateau where it's like, I think they're really developing who they are.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you were mentioning, having hits, we're still working towards that first hit, but that's exactly what we want to do too. We want to build the catalog. We want to, make a collection, right? And ideally we want to sign another band. So that's what we're looking to do. So, hey, anyone got any good demos?
Why don't you sign Default?
Right? Maybe we can sign Default. Yeah.
Any talk of making a record?
Definitely been talking about it. Not so much a record, but possibly a single, but it's really hasn't escalated beyond us wanting to do it yet. We have no action has been taken on any of our parts to to get it moving. But yeah, it's definitely something we want.
You better hurry.
Towards.
This dude's 51.
I know.
I know.
Well, next year is our 25th anniversary of the first
Is
record.
that
So
right? Holy,
Isn't that crazy?
it's crazy.
like
Crazy.
half of my life.
Crazy.
yeah.
Really, that's just, I mean, it's funny because 604s at that point now we're having all these anniversaries for,
Mhm.
it was like we had the 20th anniversary this year of the Thornley record.
Wow, 20. Holy
And yeah, I know. You're just sort of go, what?
Yeah.
I mean, even Call Me Maybe now is suddenly 13 years old.
Dang.
Yeah, it feels like it just happened,
Yeah.
Wow.
you know?
Well, that's another great career, the Big Wreck guys. We get to play with them every year, it seems. So that's been great.
Which is a treat.
Yeah.
Seeing those guys play
Well,
every
that
time.
reissue of the 20th anniversary sold out in about 2 seconds.
Wow.
Like, it really did well.
Right on.
And I got to admit, I love that stuff now. I'm letting the young people here do more of the signing of new bands.
Mhm.
I love focusing on catalog. I love going back in time.
Yeah.
I mean, we just put out that Armchair Cynics 20th anniversary
Cool.
with a bunch of like songs that we found in the vault. And that's I love. I just love that right now.
That's
So,
very cool.
all right. Anything else that, I don't know, promotional wise, or like I said, I always like to give people a chance.
Got this cool project called Wrecking Room. And it's got Sal Costa, who's the guitar player
From
for
My Darkest
Days. Yep. It's got Rich Bedeau from Finger 11.
He's Finger 11's drummer.
He was Finger
From like
11's.
the original.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
was Saint Asonia
Saint
for a while.
Asonia,
too.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Lucas Rossi.
And are you guys making new music? And
Yeah. I can show you a couple tunes after.
okay.
Yeah.
Love it. Jeremy Hora, discuss. We discussed.
We love that man. We love him. He's the best. Got a good little Jeremy story when we did the Australian tour.
Oh, man.
Jeremy is a huge fan of the Tea Party. The Tea Party
yes.
was on the tour with us. And then when he first met Jeff Martin, the first thing Jeff Martin said to him was, "We're not friends."
Oh, it was hilarious. Though.
Why would he say that?
Because Jeremy
I'll
was.
tell you
yeah.
why. I'll tell you why. So when we arrived in Australia, that's what, a 20-hour flight?
Yeah.
Well, you get free booze on that flight, right? So you can imagine how awesome Jeremy was, the form he was in when we got to Australia. Well, we get there and he was right away. He's like, "I'm going to see the Tea Party." And we're like, "Dude, go to bed."
Yeah.
He's like, "Fuck, I'm going to see the Tea Party." We're like, "Dude, we got a massive show tomorrow. Go to bed."
Yeah.
"I'm going out." We're like, "You're going to die."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I'm going out." So like, okay, just be here at lobby call tomorrow. So next day, I'm sitting down at the lobby waiting for everybody, and I see Jeff Martin coming down the stairs, and he's got fire in his eyes. He looks like he's going to punch somebody in the face, and I'm
shit.
like, man, I feel bad for whoever it gets in his way today. He walks straight up to me and goes, "What the is up with your guitar player?" And I go, "Where do I start?" Where do I start? He goes, "The whole way back in the van, he kept turning around and looking at me and going,"
And that's such a Jeremy face.
Winking and sticking the tongue out. Yeah.
God.
he's like, "I wanted to punch him in the face." I'm like, "Sorry."
So then fast forward, a week and a half to the end of the tour? Those two guys,
Yeah.
arm in arm, hugging.
Oh, God.
"I'm so happy I met you. I love you so much."
Oh, no.
Because they connected somehow, some way on the trip. And then
God.
that was it. So, but that just speaks to how lovely Jeremy is once you get to know him.
He looks like his dad so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's just like, they both have such a funny, like, I don't mean funny like ha ha ha, but like something just makes you smile when you see those guys.
yeah.
Like there's just something very uplifting about.
Oh, absolutely.
the whole Hora family are just
He
absolutely
has a sister.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a brother.
And a brother. Yeah. He lives in the Valley still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
Dustin.
you.
Yeah. You've probably met him at
a show or
Yeah.
something.
He'd come out quite often. Yeah. But no, you're right. Yeah. The family's incredible.
All right. Well, shout out to you, Jeremy. You're the only member of Default who has not been on the podcast.
Mhm.
So we may
gotta
have
get on
to,
it.
maybe I'll get you and Jeff Martin on together. Oh yeah. I always get in trouble for not saying what I'm supposed to say at the end of these. I'm supposed to say,
Leave a rating and comment if you enjoyed.
Oh, if you enjoyed this pod, which I know you did, don't
Had to.
I can don't
Don't
lie
leave a
about
rating
it.
if you didn't enjoy it.
Just because you don't like me doesn't mean you have to, pretend you didn't like the podcast. Leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Not leave a subscribe. Click subscribe. Click like. Send us money. Say nice things about us. Say bad things about us. Just talk about us and do it online. And you'll make this miserable curmudgeon of a human being happy.
You hate Simkin. She hates Simkin. We hate Simkin. Who hates Simkin? I hate Simkin. They hate Simkin.